you doing? In this episode of the NC Beer Buzz, we're in Olde Hickory, and right now we're in front of the Olde Hickory tap room. We're heading over to the Olde Hickory Brewery to talk some beer.
So we're inside now with Saison Gee, and Jake is the brewer here at Olde Hickory. We appreciate you having us with us.
Thank you for coming
out.
He's
also the namesake for the Saison Gee, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So first, Jake, how about telling us about Olde Hickory and what Olde Hickory is and how it came to be?
We're a brewery here in Hickory, North Carolina. Been around for about 15 years. Started off as a little brew pub on a 7-barrel system, and after a few years outgrew that, and we've been in this facility for over 10 years now.
This facility being the brewery itself?
The brewery itself, yeah.
There's also a tap room?
Yep, okay. And then we actually have 2 restaurants in town. There's the original brew pub out on 70 called Amos Howard's, and then the Olde Hickory tap room downtown.
Okay, right, good. We appreciate you having us here. So tell us how you came to be here, how it happened.
Yeah, I started off as a home brewer, like so many other brewers here in North Carolina, around the country. Just fell in love with craft beer when I was in college. We'd go and hang out at our local brewery in Upland there in Bloomington, Indiana. And after that, really just got hooked on home brewing and the creativity, the art behind it, and just, fell in love. After a while, I went to Siebel in Chicago, took a class there, and then put my resume up online, and Stephen gave me a call out of the blue one day.
Stephen being?
Stephen Lyerly, our brewmaster.
Okay,
here.
Right.
Yep. Good. So yeah, he called me, and I came down, and we had a common interest. We both had the same major in college, anthropology, and he saw that stood out to him. So rest is history.
Now, with your homebrewing, did you experiment beyond? I know the homebrewing now, people are really trying to push the envelope.
Yeah.
But several years ago, it wasn't as much. They pretty much stayed with standard beers. Did you experiment? Were you experimenting back then?
I was mostly doing traditional styles, pale ales, brown ales, stuff like that. I would mess around, with some different sugars or some different yeasts. I never used any like wild yeast or bacteria back then, but I definitely used some Belgian yeasts. Okay. Played around with maple syrup and brown sugar and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah.
And how did that translate to what you play with here?
Yeah, pretty well. We're kind of an eclectic brewery. We're always coming out with new things, new styles, one-offs, different seasonals. So it's really fun. We get to play around with a lot of stuff and experiment with a lot of things. And some of that stuff is drawn back on old home brewing experience. But some of the stuff now is just what can we do next? What can we do with whatever's out there?
Right. It's a whole new level.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the flagship beers for Olde Hickory?
Yeah, we've got probably our 3 biggest beers would be our Ruby Lager, our Table Rock Pale Ale, and Death by Hops. And then we have several other year-round beers we do, including our Hickory Stick Stout, Piedmont Pilsner, Hefeweizen, Black Raven, which is a black IPA. And then we do a whole bunch of, like I said, seasonals and high-gravity stuff.
And what are we drinking today?
Right now we're having our Oktoberfest, which is our current seasonal. It's a Märzen, nice malty, you get a nice spicy hop note to it. Right.
And how do you decide what to do when you do it? What moves you to do something?
Yeah, a lot of times it's what we're in the mood for.
Okay.
But a lot of times we try to, keep the seasons in mind, definitely. Something a little bit maltier for fall, something a little bit stronger for the winter. We had our Southern Cross, which we call it a New Zealand style Pilsner. It was kind of a IPA Pilsner hybrid using all New Zealand hops. So it was a nice, crisp, clean drinking beer. We had that out in the summer. It seemed to do really well for that.
And in here, I noticed in the brewery there's a plethora of wood barrels.
Yeah.
So it seemed like I don't notice it as much in the other breweries as I've seen here, and it seems like that seems to be a little niche you guys are working with.
Yeah. I'd say we're a craft brewery with a bourbon problem. But yeah, we like to play around with barrels. Right now, just in our bourbon barrels, we have some Imperial Stout, Imperial Brown, Seven Devils Scotch Ale. We also have the Event Horizon, and a few bourbon barrels that have barley wines as old as 5 years old in them.
Oh, that's great.
Setting back for a special project. And we've recently started messing around with wine barrels also. We've used some Chardonnay barrels, and we have some wheat wine in red wine barrels right now. we're looking at getting some more and playing around with some more fun stuff with wine barrels.
So speaking of the unique and different, tell us about the Saison, your namesake beer. How did that come to be, and how did you wind up being glorified with the name of it?
Oh yeah, after a few years, Stephen came to me and told me that he wanted me to go and do my own project.
Before that, you had kind of been doing his recipes.
Yep, exactly.
Formulas.
Yep. Yeah, and he wanted me to come up with my own recipe and play around with something fun that the brewery had never done before. And we said, why not a Saison? And we tried that. And we also had Chardonnay barrels, which the Arafiotes Imperial Pilsner had just come out of, and we were ready to refill those. So we decided to put that Saison into those barrels. It actually underwent a secondary fermentation in those barrels. And it was just a really nice, fun project. It was something new for us. We'd never used that yeast strain in the brewery before, and it took a lot of learning. It's kind of finicky, kind of X-funky, but
since it was your first one, you got the name.
I got the name.
And it was well received.
Yep, it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Very happy with it.
Now, what is the distribution for Olde Hickory? We pretty much get Olde Hickory statewide.
Just about statewide. Yeah, we're from Knoxville to Raleigh, and but dapple a little bit further east than Raleigh. But right now, we're just kind of testing the waters there. Got our hands full with Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham.
And unlike some, we do see bottles. Are we going to see cans?
I don't know about cans anytime soon. I would love to do some cans, but yeah.
Basically because it's sealed, dark environment and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
You brewers like the cans.
I do like cans,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do have their drawbacks and stuff, but it's I think it's a great package.
But there are no plans currently for Olde Hickory to move that way.
Nope, not
Not
yet.
Talk about it anyway. Right. So we often talk about. We saw coming in that you had been cooperating with some of the other breweries. We often hear people talk about the camaraderie and the sense of community between the breweries in North Carolina. Can you comment on the beer scene and the camaraderie and stewardship you guys feel together?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of North Carolina brewers in particular feel very connected to one another. We're constantly either collaborating. We do a collaboration with Foothills and Duck Rabbit called Old Rabbit's Foot. We do that once a year, but aside from just collaborating on beer, we also share equipment. If one brewery's looking to sell some equipment, there's always another brewery looking to buy some more. In fact, we just bought a small little tank from the Ivory Tower Brewery up in Boone. Bought some kegs from Natty Greens. So there's a lot of that stuff going on, and we try to keep everything together, and work together because, we're all small businesses just trying to get through.
Right.
And we're up to about 70 now. Is there room for everybody?
I think so. Yeah, I think there's room for more.
But how? In what sense?
Yeah, I like the regionality of beer a lot, and I'm hoping that one style of beer that does well in Asheville, there might be another style of beer that does well out on the coast, and we can develop nice regional flavors across the state. It's a pretty broad state, and different climates, different attitudes, and I like the idea of small localized beer. You have to come to the Charlotte area to get this beer. You have to go down to the Triangle to get that beer, and I think that's great, and that's where a lot of new styles are going to come from. A lot of creativity is going to come from,
and the individuality of the different brewers.
Exactly. Yeah, and I really think that's the way that the whole industry is going.
Great. Well, we appreciate so much you having us here today.
Absolutely.
In Hickory at the Olde Hickory Brewery, and again we're with Jake Gee. And they've got these new growler koozies.
That's it,
So that's new swag that's just come in.
Oh yeah. Keep your growlers cool.
Keep your growlers cool.
I like that.
That's right. Remember, drink local, keep your beer dollars in North Carolina. And until next time, cheers.